Hey guys, playing a 3-minute game this time. A little faster than usual, see how it goes. This will put my commentating skills to the test. Nothing like trial by fire, right? This is a really popular setup for white. Knight f3, g3, bishop g2. Sometimes I think it's like the lazy title player setup because you can play it against anything. It's universal. And white still has chances for an advantage. Okay, so this move signals he's probably going to play queen b3 next move. Let's go knight b7. Yeah, the way I played it, it's a little bit awkward. I think my move order wasn't good. Bishop c5 might have been better to preempt bishop e3. Now, okay, let's go queen c7. Take with the e-pawn just to keep the c-file closed so we can't play rook c1 with tempo. There may be some problems in a couple moves, though, because I would expect him to play, for instance, knight c3 and then rook c1, but he did this instead. I don't like bishop f4 because I think queen b6 is helping me. If he takes, I'll take with the pawn. He just goes knight here. Kind of slow. Debating whether I want to play knight c5 or just make a generic move, h6. Useful. Now I can post a rook on e8 and attack e2. It'll be difficult for him to get e4 in because I've got already 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces trained on that square. With the rook coming, that's 5. I like my position. I may just double on the e-file. Rook e7, rook e8. Try to dislodge this knight. If he plays e3, then d3 is a weakness. Not easy to attack. Let's try this, reroute the knight. Want to get at d3. So let's do that. The problem I'm going to face here is how to make progress now. Let's go a5, make sure our knight is securely placed. Yeah, he's got everything defended. Ooh, I would hate to have to exchange knights with him. I'm going to go back and try to probe him a little bit. Maybe play around with the idea of going to e5. b4, okay. Does that work? Guess so. Guess it's fine. All right. Wants to trade. I gotta get this bishop free. That was annoying that he played f4 or 5. Yeah, he's gonna start playing fast now because he's down on time. This position's rickety though. Yeah, I can do this now. Now this. Ooh, but he has rook c1. Annoying. Got a lot of pawns, though.
Check. 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 Check.
Just gotta play fast. Okay, I won. Let's go back. This setup I played is pretty much universal against knight f3 and g3. It's really common. It's called the Lasker setup. So developing the light square bishop outside of the chain, given the chance. The reason why that's possible is because, unlike a lot of positions where white has fianchettoed their kingside bishop early, there's not any tangible pressure on d5. There's no pressure. I shouldn't even say tangible pressure. So black can take the opportunity to do that. In a lot of d-pawn openings, this move is just a dream for black. They can only hope to get that move in. But in this Lasker setup, this is how you arrange it. You can think of this as a pawn triangle you're trying to set up, bishop outside the pawn chain. And then the natural place for this other knight is on d7. And as I said, I don't think I should have committed my bishop to e7 right away. In fact, I've had this position, and what did I play? I think I played knight bd7 when I played this position in the past. But you can also take on c4 and just swap the queens. I know this is about equal as well. But the way it was played, I thought white had a small advantage, because now this is awkward for me. If I could, I'd love to play queen b6 in response to queen b3, just so he never has any discoveries down the c-file, any pressure there. Yeah, here I think he should have just developed his knight, either to d2 or c3, probably c3, and then put a rook on c1. For instance, knight c3, castles, rook a c1. And I'm always going to have to think about that and discoveries like knight b5. Good rule of thumb: if you can place your rook on the same file as your opponent's queen, even if there's traffic in the way, it will create threats for you, and it'll be uncomfortable for your opponent. So I didn't like his bishop. Oh, take first and then bishop f4. I didn't like that move for him. That seems like it's just forcing my queen to a better square. And I was mentioning that if he took my queen, I'm happy to take with the a pawn. This gives me instant pressure on a3. And sometimes, after, say, he plays a3 to defend it, black can go b5, later play b4. Note that he can't play b4 here because I can take. Rook is undefended. He's pinned. And I found that after you played b5, it's often convenient to go knight b6 to a4 to put pressure on the b2 pawn. That's a strategy that happens in a lot of Slav positions. Black can take advantage of that. So he didn't want to trade right away. Just plays knight bd2, castled, h3, h6, bishop here, bishop c5. Seemed fine. Now I get to attack e2. This is a backward pawn. It's going to be hard for him to advance e4. I thought I was somewhat better here, but I am curious what the engine says. Yeah, engine agrees. It just seems easier to play my position. Really likes knight a6 here. In this position, white has what's called a superfluous pair of knights, meaning that these knights are stepping on each other. They're taking away each other's squares. So theoretically, as black here, I should not exchange or offer an exchange of those knights, because it'll make it easier for the remaining knight for him to be active. But as it stands here, the knight on b3 is vying for the d4 square. So that, as you can see, the computer's suggesting knight a6, like move my knight to the edge of the board, but that plays against this piece, makes sure that this piece is out of commission. Superfluous pieces are really common. They're most often knights. They could be rooks. Almost never bishops, for obvious reasons. But a superfluous piece is just a piece in your own army that's duplicated. So hence, like, knights and rooks. That's interesting that knight a6 is considered the best move by the engine here. I did that. Now only a small advantage for me. Started maneuvering to pressure the pawn on d3. Oh, knight e5. I was so focused on going to c5. A big advantage of going to e5, though, is we attack d3, and if, say, rook a d1, I can go c5, followed up by c4. Like, if this, then that's good. Didn't consider that option. Because I kind of hit a wall right here as far as how to make progress. Let's say I can take on d3. Ah, so same tactic is possible. I'm going to do that. If the knight moves, then c4. There's more potential there than I thought. I just played that kind of reflexively just to stop him from going b4. Moving the knight back. Yeah, what if take? Rook b1, I thought he was going to win b7. Maybe there was some tactics, like this rook is loose. Again, this c5 move. The computer thinks is good. Just did that. Played queen c5. We swapped. Went rook over. I thought this would be annoying for him because rook a5 is in the air, and this rook is tied down to that pawn. But f4 is a good response. Lock my bishop out of the game temporarily. Unfortunate it wasn't permanently locked out. Yeah, here I played g6. Tried to keep it trapped in on h7. But there's pressure here. Knight f3. Yeah, and that was a mistake. Knight d2. He didn't have much time left at this point. So if he goes rook e d1, then he sidesteps this because my knight on d7 is hanging. I need to address that, so I can't just go take the pawn on e4. Well, this got a little sloppy at the end. Like, I took, and then probably foolishly took on c5. If I had done this first, this looks good. Yeah, then after this, then knight takes c5 is good. If he plays rook e c1, I can take here with no problem now. So, move order mistake, taking on c5 first. Yeah, I'm just fortunate that I still have a bunch of pawns. And this quickly won for me. Yeah, e2. It's too much.
Check. Check. Check.
And the rest was just
Check.
time trouble stuff. Okay. Thanks for watching, guys. Over and out. Talk to you later.